Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the latest edition of Wow, Lynch, Wow. Dedicated to filmmaker David Lynch and inspired by the triumphant return of Twin Peaks. A friendly warning to everyone who isn't caught up on all 16 episodes of the new Twin Peaks: there will be spoilers and they will begin shortly. So viewers and listeners, be warned. Did Jerry Horne even recognize his nephew Richard and Bad Coup? Did he actually get a good look at them? Or did his bad binoculars prevent him from making heads or tails of what he just witnessed? Whatever the case may be, poor Jerry appears to be suffering as the result of some type of encounter with the evil forces brewing in Twin Peaks. I don't think we've seen the last of Jerry Horne. I think Jerry will resurface in some capacity, probably at Jack Rabbit's palace. All roads are headed to Twin Peaks. Cooper is flying out there, along with the Mitchum brothers and Candy, Sandy, and Mandy. The Mitchum brothers indicated that they weren't welcome in such places like a sheriff's station, so I'm under the impression that they will accompany Cooper into Twin Peaks after landing. If Cooper makes it there in time before the trip to Jack Rabbit's palace, he'll have an opportunity to say hello to some old friends. And it's possible they might also be joined there by the Blue Rose team, consisting of Cole, Albert, and Tammy. Cooper left Battling Bud a message for Cole, and I'm assuming that message will lead them to Twin Peaks. Consider this. FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper may possibly have the combined might of the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Station, the FBI Blue Rose team, and the Mitchum brothers. That's a badass team for Cooper to be surrounded by, and lest we forget, Cooper himself possesses impeccable skill sets, and since finally snapping back, he seems even more connected and in tune than ever before. It almost seems unfair to Bad Coup. Sure, he could kick a lot of ass himself, and we all saw what he did to Renzo, but Bad Coup is going up against a talented lot, so it almost seems unfair. But then you have to remember that Bad Coup has access to powers that we don't fully understand at this point. For one, he has a connection with the Woodsman and various other lodge entities. He's highly intelligent, cold and calculating, and his endgame has always involved this: the card he showed Daria, the same marking that Hawk warned Frank about on his old map. I could very well be mistaken, but I'm inclined to believe that Sarah Palmer is directly tied into what's going on with Bad Coop's plans involving the mother and the coordinates. I also tend to believe that Red has some significant role to play before all is said and done, and I could imagine him potentially becoming a key ally for Bad Coup down the stretch. We also know that the eyeless woman has a key role to play, Hulk-Hand Freddy has his destiny to fulfill, and Andy now has a great abundance of knowledge that will probably be useful for something. Andy's first vision was the mother of all evil. He gets a glimpse of her coughing up Bob. Then he gets a vision of the Woodsman first appearing. He sees something about electricity. So Andy has some general knowledge about Bob, the Woodsman, the mother, and something about the way all of these entities make use of electricity. Andy's next set of visions, we see the high school just before the announcement of Laura Palmer's death. He sees Laura surrounded by two angels with red curtains from the Black Lodge. So Andy knows something about the importance of Laura Palmer in all of this. Right after Laura, Andy sees Naito, and I think this is important. This leads me to believe that there's a direct connection of some sort between Laura Palmer and the eyeless woman. Next, Andy sees Cooper splitting into two Coops, so he should have a firm grasp on the two Coup situation. Then Andy sees a vision of a phone ringing. At first I thought this had something to do with the log lady calling Hawk right before her passing, but while it looks like the same phone, the surrounding environment is different. So I think some type of important phone call will be happening in the finale. Then Andy sees a vision of his beloved Lucy, who seems to be processing information about whatever it is that's in front of her. The way she's looking back and forth, it almost seems to suggest that Lucy might be the one who can tell the difference between the two Coopers. This in itself suggests that Bad Coop is going to try to hoodwink everyone into believing he's the real Cooper so that he can help progress his plans. And finally, Andy sees when he comforts the eyeless woman, and Andy becomes absolutely horrified when he sees the number 6 telephone pole 3 times. This looks exactly like the same pole that Carl saw after the young boy was killed by Richard Horne, which just so happens to look like the same pole that Agent Chet Desmond saw not long before his disappearance. Andy might well be more enlightened at this point than Agent Cooper himself, and Andy should be well prepared to advise Cooper moving forward. That is, if Andy could even figure out which Coop is the real Coop. At this point in the story, it's very difficult to imagine how anyone could possibly be confused by the two Coops. Even if Bad Coop got himself a haircut and a nice suit, the guy simply exudes evil. And the good Coop is one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. Who the hell could mix these two up? Even a complete and total moron should be able to tell the difference between the good and the bad. So that means Bad Coop's probably going to have an ace up his sleeve. Something to alter the appearances and the perceptions. And I'm wondering if this isn't how Red figures into the bigger picture. And of course, we know that Laura Palmer will somehow become the key player in all of this. Laura is the one. And I think Laura may or may not be connected to Naito, but whatever her purpose, Laura is the key. I'm betting that Cooper almost certainly doesn't remember whatever it was that Laura whispered to him. He never does. And I don't think the fireman showed Andy anything about what Laura whispered to Cooper. But Cooper may remember that Leland told him to find Laura. But whatever Laura's role is, I'm looking forward to seeing Coop and Laura together again in whatever capacity it happens. So here we are, less than a week from the 2-part finale of the triumphant return of Twin Peaks. And all I can say is I love it. Thank you, Showtime, for bringing this masterpiece to television. Thank you, David. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kyle. And thank you to everyone who helped make this impossible comeback a triumphant reality. I'm just itching to see what happens next. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Hope you're all as excited as I am for the 2-part finale. And whatever happens, I'm sure it will be both strange and wonderful. Have a great night, everyone.